Biggie.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah.
New location today.
Yes, we're at, as you can see, we're at Powerhouse Gym.
All right, so I got to tell that story. So Eric has been here since the end of 2021. And so far we've trained mostly at Dragon. We went a couple of times at Kilo, but he's never actually trained per se at Powerhouse. So he was very curious to see what it was like in there. So today we're going to do a little change of pace a little bit. We're going to train over here. And I'm even going to allow myself to be on camera a little bit.
This is unprecedented territory. You haven't been on camera in a really long time.
So it'll just be you and me on the show.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have been really good on the comments and really nice and telling me that I should show my face more and I should be more part of social media. So I don't really want to do it, but I'm going to give you guys what you want. I hope you guys are not disappointed. So what are we training today, Biggie?
So today, actually doing chest, and then we're going to do some front and side delt.
Okay. And
yeah, we'll try to do some interesting things. I know this. I have been here before. I've looked around. There's such great equipment here. So it's going to be kind of like playtime.
Yeah, we're going to take our time today. I clear my schedule because usually we are a little bit of a time constraint on Thursday. But today I clear my schedule, so we have all the time in the world because I want you to be able to take a look at all the machines over here. It's very different, you know. So I want you to take a look around, and then hopefully we get to see Iris and Ide, and we hope you guys like the show, right?
Yeah, it should be fun. I finally got to wear my Powerhouse hat.
Yeah, there you go. All right, awesome.
All right.
All right, good to see you. Hey, how are you? Miss Olympia. Thanks for having us today. I'm good, I'm good. You know Eric, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He was so excited about trying your gym. He's been hoping to come and train here for a long time. So I said, let me call Iris. We're gonna go over here. And she was so nice. Yeah.
For a while, I've been like, let's get a Powerhouse.
Yeah. We're gonna be in here for a while. It's like a new toy for him. All right. You don't mind being on camera? Big Ide. How are you, man?
How are you?
Thanks for having us today.
Of course.
We brought Eric today.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I know. You couldn't wait to try your gym.
First time?
No, I've been here before. I haven't trained here yet.
Oh, okay.
First time, yeah.
So training and filming today.
So we're going to be here for a while.
My guy.
How are you? Oh, I know him. How are you, man? Good to see you. He looks good. Are you helping him out?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, you guys are on JTV. All right. Say hi. All right. Awesome.
Okay, so for this movement, what we're doing is a flat press machine. Really awesome machine here at Powerhouse. And what Dave is doing is he's holding the stretch position at the bottom for 4 full seconds before muscling the way to the top. So as you can see, he's getting a real deep stretch, holding it for 4 seconds, muscling it to the top, and then lowering under control. Holding the stretch position under resistance is an amazing way to tear up muscle fibers, which will then in turn have to be repaired for muscle growth. A very, very tough technique, especially if you really allow your shoulders to go deep into that stretch. Okay, so the second movement here is a machine incline press. This is a great machine, and one of the reasons why is because the motion of it might be hard for you to see. It's very, very natural for the shoulders. It arcs out and arcs back in, so it's very comfortable. David's using a 4-second negative on this movement. First movement was a 4-second hold at the stretch. Now a 4-second negative. This really nails the upper chest. And again, those negatives is a great way to tear the muscle fibers, so they must come back bigger and stronger. An amazing technique for hypertrophy. And that's an incline shoulder press here at Powerhouse. Okay, so this exercise actually I've been wanting to show for a while. This obviously is not unique to Powerhouse. I want you guys to be able to do this anywhere. So what you see as he has is a close grip handle. We're on an incline bench set to about 35 degrees. And as you can see how he's gripping it, he's pushing from the chest and he's pushing up and back and is keeping the chest flexed the entire time. So this way you keep the triceps out of the movement as much as you can, and you focus on the chest, focus on keeping the chest tight all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. And it's a great way to hit the fibers in the inner upper chest. Okay guys, so this one is a pretty interesting fly machine. The way it works is as your arms are going back during the negative, it kind of arcs upward, and then as you come down for the squeeze, it arcs downward. So you feel a really nice stretch at the top and a really tremendous squeeze at the bottom. And because we have that good squeeze, I'm having him focus. Actually, we're both focusing on that 4-second hold at the bottom, where he's not only contracting the chest, he is hyper contracting, which means he's not just holding the weight in position, he's actually actively squeezing the chest as if he's doing a most muscular, really looking to fry those inner chest fibers. Of course, we cannot isolate the inner chest, we cannot isolate any one portion of the chest, but we can direct our focus to certain motor unit pools in the chest. And he's doing that with the inner chest, getting a really nice squeeze. You can see holding for 4 seconds, controlling the negative, and bringing it to the top. Really, really excellent machine here at Powerhouse. Okay guys, so what we have here, we're just using a seated chest press machine, just another unique one they have here at Powerhouse. And what we're doing is a single arm side chest press. I love this movement again for crushing that inner chest and just getting a great pump. As you can see, he's sitting pretty much to the side rather than straight ahead, and he's pressing across his body, and he's trying to push one pectoral into the other. As you can see, he's holding his hand in there by the chest so you can feel that contraction. And on this movement, we were just going for higher reps, really just looking to get a great pump, get a lot of blood into the muscle, just to finish off our chest workout. Awesome way to finish them. Okay, so now we're moving into shoulders, starting off with the lateral deltoid. We're using this seated side lateral machine. Using a lot of machines today because there's so many here to play with. I want to show you guys as many machines as possible. The technique that he's using is, again, we're holding the contracted position, hyper contracting the shoulders, so he's going to the top, not just holding, actively squeezing the side delt. Very, very difficult technique, especially on a movement like this. The burn comes fast and furious, but this is a great way to build cannonball delts to really get wide on the sides, which is important for anybody in physique competition. Getting down to the last couple of reps here, and that's an awesome set. So again, side lateral machine, contracted position reps. Okay, so now we're moving into a shoulder press machine here. There's many of them here. This is the one I chose. Has a slight angle in the back, a little bit more comfortable for the shoulders. We're using a neutral grip, palms facing, and he's using a 4-second negative on the way down, pressing to the top. 4-second negative on the way down. Again, great way to damage muscle fibers with the negative. They have to be rebuilt bigger and stronger. Never forget about the negatives. Even if you don't use complete emphasis like this, always focus on those negatives every set. Okay, so what we're doing now is a single arm front raise on this machine here, which actually is meant for bent over rear laterals, but I was experimenting with it earlier, which I like to do with machines all the time and see what else they can do. And I made it into a single arm front raise because the motion of this machine is very interesting. It actually allows the hand to come in and cross over to towards the center of the body at the top, which gives a really amazing contraction. I try to do that with dumbbells too sometimes when I do front raises, but it works really, really well on this machine. So for this exercise, we actually didn't hold any portion of the movement. We were just doing the exercise with a good full range of motion and muscling the weight up, not using momentum at any point. Great for the front of the shoulders. Okay, so we're finishing off this shoulder workout with a big pump here. We're doing a combination movement. Yes, we're finally using some free weights. So he starts off with a very, very strict one-arm side lateral, and then he goes into a hammer grip front raise, back and forth. So we're working the lateral deltoid first, the anterior deltoid second, and this is to just give a huge pump after damaging all those muscle fibers through the first few exercises. Sometimes I just love to finish workouts with high rep movements just to get a lot of blood, oxygen, hormones, and nutrients into the muscle group to help the recovery process. And today we're only training front and side delts, which is why you see us focusing on those areas.
All right, Biggie. Ask Merlin Monday is back. Although it's not Monday today.
How long has it been since we've done an Ask Merlin Monday?
It's been a while.
Today it's Ask Merlin Thursday. But so we're here at Powerhouse, so why don't good place to introduce it again. So I have a good question that came on my Facebook page, which I haven't even answered yet, so I'll answer it here. Kind of paraphrase a little bit. I understand having plenty of carbohydrates for a good workout is necessary because of the carbohydrates provide energy to perform work. But why is it that, for me personally, it seems that I train better without carbohydrates for a workout, sometimes even in a semi-fasted state? Is it because I'm running on adrenaline, or do I just feel better because I have an empty stomach? Can you explain why, possibly I feel this way? So it's actually a really good question, because people always assume, of course, carbohydrates, yes, are associated with energy, because carbohydrates will turn into sugars, and your body uses sugars for energy, plus also carbohydrates are stored in the muscle as glycogen, and the muscles prefer to use glycogen for energy. But a lot of people assume that you have to have carbohydrates before a workout in order to have any kind of energy, and this is not necessarily true. Since your body mostly works on stored carbohydrates or glycogen, you should have a good, if you're eating correctly, which means after your workouts, you're taking in ample carbohydrates and restoring glycogen in the muscles. That energy is stored. So it's in the muscle, so it's ready for use the next time you need it. So your body can use that energy. It does not necessarily need to have carbohydrates introduced right before a workout. Now, another interesting fact about carbohydrates is that, and again, this is not a blanket statement for everybody, because certain people may do better on carbohydrates than others, but for people like you, I'm really explaining this for people like you, because a lot of people out there, and I'm one of them as well, I do better with no carbohydrates before workouts. I actually use fats. Of course, I'll have had carbohydrates with my first meal of the day to also make sure that my glycogen stores are completely tapped off. And of course, after my workouts, I have another high carbohydrate meal. But carbohydrates, for some people, affects the neurotransmitters and actually makes them sleepy. It has to do with serotonin, dopamine, the effects of those neurotransmitters. So if you've noticed, I'm sure in the past, if you've had a large carbohydrate meal, a lot of times you just feel like you want to go to sleep. You just feel very relaxed and sleepy and whatever, and sometimes it's just called like a carbohydrate coma. And you can actually have that happen during a workout to a degree, where you're feeling a little bit lethargic, you're not feeling as energetic. And another thing is, there have been some studies that have shown that not having carbohydrates before a workout and just having fats, you actually get a stronger connection in the muscle. You get a stronger contraction, and I think those two factors are really what play into a lot of people who don't do well on carbohydrates right before the workout. It's because they're very heavily affected by carbohydrates, making them feel lethargic and sleepy, and because they're not getting as strong of a nerve force. So what you're doing is fine. If you're not having... Now, let me just say this. I don't feel that most people should just wake up first thing in the morning and go to the gym on a completely empty stomach with no carbohydrates. I think that's a quick fix for losing muscle. I do think you should have a little bit of carbohydrates first thing in the morning, and then preferably not train until after your second or third meal. But you don't necessarily have to have carbohydrates right before you train, like everybody assumes has to be. But experiment. Some people will do well with a small amount of carbohydrates mixed with a little bit of fats and protein before a workout. Some people do need a little bit more carbs before a workout, otherwise they get a very, very low blood sugar. But make sure that if you're going to have carbs before a workout, that it's a slow-acting carb, because if you have a carb that's too fast-acting, like a white potato or white bread, those types of carbohydrates, you will get a crash. So your energy will go up and then you'll crash, because insulin will come into play and just pull all that sugar out of the bloodstream, and you'll crash. So there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. A lot of people, just like me, like to have fat and carbohydrates before workouts, and we do better, because remember, the main energy sources come from stored carbohydrates or glycogen. Okay, so another good question. I follow your training very, very closely. I watch on Jake Lauder TV. and I know that you're a heavy proponent of time under tension. But my question is, how does that translate into the progress of the growth season? Is it all time under tension, or does it not matter how much you lift, or you know, what's the story? What do you do in order to produce growth in the off season? So let me just say this. So one of the things that I always talk about is that it's not the amount of weight that you lift, it's the amount of tension you produce on a muscle. Now, one of the misnomers that people sometimes get if they haven't followed me over time is they think that I don't care how much weight you lift ever, like it doesn't matter, you can lift 5 pounds. No, I believe you should get stronger. I believe that, you know, especially when you're starting out, one of the main ways you progress is by getting stronger in the movements, the basic movements especially. Obviously, if you're, you know, the first day you're lifting, you can only bench press 50 pounds. And I'm talking about good form here, always good form. If you can only bench press 50 pounds for 10 reps in good form, and then a year later you could bench press 150 pounds for 10 reps in good form, chances are you're going to be bigger. The muscle's going to be bigger. Your chest muscles, shoulder muscles, tricep muscles. So yes, you know, definitely lifting heavier weights comes into play, especially for your first few years of training. But strength is finite, which basically means you can't keep getting stronger forever. Because if you could keep getting stronger forever, then we'd be lifting buildings, you know, and that doesn't happen. So what generally happens with people is, you know, they get stronger to a point, and then strength gains start to become harder and harder to come by. Then, because the muscles are generally more resilient than the joints and the attachments, injuries start to come into play when you start to push more weight than your attachments want to take. Then those injuries come into play, and then of course you start getting weaker because you can't lift as much because there's pain, so on and so forth. Not to mention the fact that there are other pathways to growth aside from just lifting heavier weights. So it's really more about tension, because the muscles, again, simple statement, the muscles don't know what weight is on the bar. It doesn't, the bicep doesn't know whether you're curling 60 pounds, 90 pounds, 120 pounds. It just knows how much tension is on it, how much pull, how much squeezing, how much the fibers are being contracted. And if you know how to do it, you can make a 50-pound barbell feel as heavy or heavier than a 100-pound barbell. And the way you do this is through, the way you create tension is how you perform your reps. So generally that means slowing your reps down. Most people lift from point A to point B far too quickly. It's like a 1 second up, 1 second down type of a thing. So every rep might take 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And if you perform, you know, 10 reps with a 2-second, you know, performance of each rep, you're only under tension for about 20 seconds. I believe you need to be under tension for muscle growth between 40 and 70 seconds. Sometimes I take that into the extreme and I have long sets, take a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but for most people, 40 to 70 seconds is pretty good. So the way to do that is to, number one, slow down the eccentric reps, slow down the negative portion of a rep. Instead of letting the weight, you know, drop in 1 second, make sure that you're lowering the weight under 4 or 5 seconds. Another way to do it is through the positive. You don't always have to lift explosively and do it in 1 second. You could take 4 to 5 seconds to, you know, perform a positive movement, lifting the weight. You can also hold the stretch position. So the bottom of a fly, you know, the top of a close grip lat pull down. Hold that stretch position for 4 to 5 seconds. That's tension on the muscle. You can also hold the squeeze, especially with movements that allow for a good contraction, leg extensions, cable crossovers, those types of movements where there's still tension in the middle of the movement. So you have all these tools that you can use to create more tension. Therefore, you don't need as much actual weight on the bar or on the cable or on the dumbbell, because you're creating more tension. What does this do for you? Well, first of all, it increases the time under tension so that the muscle is getting more fatigued, more muscle fibers are coming into play. You're not using momentum for your reps, which completely takes away from muscle growth. And you're helping to prevent injury because you're not putting as much weight on the attachments themselves. So over time, once you get to a point where your strength is not going up anymore, rapidly after your first few years of lifting, start to explore these time under tension methods, and I promise you'll have less injuries. You'll actually see more muscle growth. You'll get better pumps during the workout, and you'll probably start to get sore again from your training, which you're probably not getting any sore anymore. So again, try to increase your strength, yes, in the beginning, but try to do it always with good form. Don't ever sacrifice form. Use a lifting speed that is, if you're using these slow negatives, get stronger using those 4-second negatives, and you'll get more growth than just pushing the weight from point A to point B. But after a while, it all becomes tension and techniques that will keep building muscle and for the long term.
Cafe.
Check it out.
See? Hi.
How are you?
I told you there was a lot.
Oh wow, yeah, it's a whole, it's like a supplement store.
Right? Project AD, Joe's stuff.
Very interesting.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
Are we looking for anything special today, or
Just checking it out.
Yeah, he didn't know about this place, so I just decided to, I told Iris I was going to bring him here.
we have all kinds of different supplements and workout gear and apparel.
And they do all the shipping here also. Whenever to ship stuff from here.
That makes sense if there's a lot of Gaspari.
Yeah. Yeah, cool, huh?
Flex's stuff in here.
Oh, I didn't know you had stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Flex got some stuff.
Cat. All right. Cool, huh? And they still have all this space over there, so yeah.
To do some more stuff.
Yeah. It's nice.
Like it. Gotta check out
Body
Come to
Cafe.
Vegas.
It's right next door. Yeah.
Powerhouse Gym and the Body Cafe. Yeah,
Right next
to the
door.
Powerhouse Gym.
Yeah.
You want to pick up some supplements?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right.